My name is, oh, sorry. Okay, I'll try again. Welcome, everybody. My name is Melissa Rathbun. I hail from District 7190, Galway Satellite Club, which is a satellite of the Twin Bridges Rotary Club. I am also, I guess, the chair of the CNY Transition Committee. So we are a committee made up of the 3 districts that have been working for the past 3-ish years on creating our new district. I hesitate to use the word merge because we're really not merging. Our 3 districts are uniting to create something new. There is no formal agenda for tonight. We are hoping that you are coming with questions that we will be able to answer. I do want to take a minute and thank some of our team members. I know I'll probably forget some, and if I do, I will apologize in advance. But originally, this process started when Evan and Rich Grishey and now it's gonna, not Jerry, before Jerry.
Dana?
Melissa, how soon you forget, Melissa.
I'm sorry, Dana.
And actually it was Bruce McConnelly from 7190. He was my classmate with Evan.
Yes, but the process actually started the year before that with Rich and a couple of people, and then Bruce came on board. So, and now this year we have Wendy, who is district governor of 7170. And Denise started last year, immediate past district governor of 7190. We have Deb and Elise and Evan and Lizzie, who will be our first president, and Bob Bach, who will be our second president. Rocky, Cheryl, Whitney, who is the current district governor for 7190, Jerry, and of course, our director, Drew, who has been a huge help, and director-elect Chris Antien. And now we have some new team members. We have Kimmy Talbot, who will be our first membership chair. I will be the first public image chair. Zoran will be the youth exchange chair. Doug Larson, finance. Peter will be the database manager and guru in charge of our website. We have Don Reese, who is our CNY Foundation chair. Deb Glisson, who is the CNY training chair. And Dana, who is in charge of our nominating committee, as well as our first CNY Rotary secretary. And Pam Baxter, who is the CNY Rotary DEI chair. So these folks have been putting in a lot of time and a lot of effort into bringing this district forward, and hopefully incorporating the best aspects of each of our existing districts. So with that said, if you have any questions at all, you can type them in the chat. You can unmute yourselves and just simply ask. And we are here to hopefully provide some clarification and help you become very enthusiastic about moving forward. Lizzie, do you have anything to add?
Well, I mean, I have some updates of the things we've been working on if you'd like to hear them, but maybe first we just see if anyone has any pressing questions you want to just throw out there. But if you need me to share updates to give you inspiration, we can move on to that.
So Lizzie, I have a question from a friend of mine, I'll say. The people that don't understand the merge, how do you explain to them that why don't we have a district governor?
Sure, that's a great question, Jim, and that is something that's going to take some getting used to for us, some of the language that we've modified moving into CNY Rotary. But we put a lot of thought into this because we know it's not easy to ask people to, change up a title or a tradition like that. And so it's a worthwhile effort to try to embrace it. And there's a couple reasons for it. First of all, being a president of something is a commonly understood language, whether you're in Rotary or not. And even in Rotary, our clubs are led by presidents, and Rotary International is led by a president. I remember the first time I brought my husband to like something beyond just a club event, and he met Dennis Schoenwetter, and I said, "This is our district governor." He thought he was there from the governor's office in Albany. He didn't realize that that was a Rotary title, and so we just thought it'd be a little bit more plain language for newer members or the layperson. But then also we've changed the role, and it's not the same as when we had district governors. A district governor currently is, we kind of describe it as like a king or queen of their district, in that they really are the final word on what's on the decisions and the things that are happening. They are the representative of Rotary International in the district. And moving forward, we're going to operate as a board. And the board is made up of the next in line, the president, the two next in line, past presidents or past district governors, as you would know them now, and the finance chair. And they're going to make decisions as a group. And that's going to make it a little bit more of a team effort, relieve a little bit of the workload for the president, and just kind of changes the role altogether. So calling them a president has dual purpose there. I hope that's helpful.
Thank you.
Well, I'll share a couple of updates for you that might be new, and they're right. All this information is on cnyrotary.org. We have built out 2 brand new committees that none of our districts have ever had before, and that's our service committee and our events committee. And we need to fill them with volunteers, including chair people. And the service chair is one that has to be approved by the executive committee because they're part of the leadership council. So it's a very, very good role to want to take on if you're passionate about supporting service in our region. The service committee has a few purposes. The main goal being to elevate and celebrate service in CNY Rotary, and so supporting our clubs and the work that they do, helping them to do more and more impactful service, and making it easier by providing resources so you don't have to start from scratch every time you do a new service project. And also to promote regional service opportunities like a day of service or CNY Rotary wide events that your clubs could partake in. And so that could be really fun. I mean, service is what we're all here for. It's what's going to attract new members when you're able to give them meaningful activities to do, and being part of that and being able to help shape this new committee would be a great opportunity for anyone. We also have our events committee, which is pretty self-explanatory, but we are going to have more events because we have over 100 clubs. The president is not going to visit every single club individually, as you may have been used to in the past for that official visit. We're going to do area visits. And so your areas are staying the same initially. So the same grouping of clubs that you're in now is going to remain the same next year. And the plan is for me to work with your assistant governor and the events committee to plan a special event that all the clubs in the area will be invited to for my official visit. So the events committee will help with that, as well as training events, celebratory events like a foundation gala or luncheon or brunch or however it comes together, as well as district conference, our biggest event for the year. And so if you like planning events, that could mean helping us put on a happy hour in your community. It could mean being on the district conference committees. So there's jobs big and small. And we really, especially on this committee, I mean, we want this on all of our committees, but it's especially important for events that we have folks from all over the region so that we have those local connections, those geographic connections that you need to be able to hold events in a variety of places. So there's a page for each of those committees on cnyrotary.org that has all the details, all the roles that are part of each committee in case you want to see what job you might be interested in, and a form fill so you can let us know if you're interested. We also, just this week, are finalizing the job description for our CNY Rotary treasurer, which is actually going to be a team of 3 people. It's a pretty big job to manage the money of a district our size. And so we've split the job into 3, and we're finishing up the wording on the outline of how those job descriptions are gonna look, and we'll be posting those probably later this week. So if you are interested in helping us with our finances, and that's an area of skill that you have, we would love to have you come forward. Any of these new committees prompt any questions for you?
Lizzie, I just had a question getting back to the governor, no more, changing the title. So the assistant governors will still be assistant governors, even though there's no district governor?
Great question, Sue. We are going to transition them to be called area representatives, or area reps, we'll call them for short. And again, there's purpose behind the change in the name, and that's going to be part of the change in culture surrounding that role. They're not assisting the governor, they are representing their area. They're representing the clubs in their area. And as the current AGs come to complete their terms, and we need to find their successor, that will be done by a committee of the clubs to nominate and choose who's going to be their representative moving forward. So that'll be something new and different, and that we will facilitate each area through the first time they have to do it. I think it'll be kind of cool and fun, and might help us bring some new fresh faces to leadership. But area representatives, AGs, as you know them now, are going to be vital in our larger region at being that voice for the clubs and making sure that we hear what the clubs need and can provide it. So there shouldn't be any governors left at that point. I think we'll pass district governors. That's going to be maybe the hardest one to shake. We can call them past presidents, but they served as district governors, so. Well, we
So,
have some events. Oh, Jim, you have a question?
yes, I was going back to the area representatives and having the clubs pick the area representatives. Does that mean our assistant governor, area representative, is going to encourage us to have a multi-club gathering so we can get to know people from the other clubs in
Yeah,
order
so
to actually do that?
yeah, the official visit is going to be a gathering, but the nominating committee would be comprised of each club's president or a proxy that the president chooses to send on their behalf. So there won't be too many cooks in the kitchen that way, but in theory, having, regular meetings with all of the presidents in your area could be a really positive thing, if it's not being done already. And then that transitions naturally into the nominating committee come the end of that area rep's term. And the area rep would be the one to sort of facilitate that process of their successor. But yeah, we are hoping that the area visits, and then other processes like this that bring the clubs, neighboring clubs together a little bit more will encourage some more collaboration and communication.
Great, thanks for that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Don.
Thanks, Lizzie. Can I just make an announcement about foundation events?
Sure.
coming up? Okay, we had a very successful first grants management seminar on February 7th. We had about 90 people virtually attend. 31 clubs ended up being qualified. You need 2 members of your club to attend a grants management seminar. Our next one is going to be April 1st, despite April 1st. It's going to be April 1st on 2024 at 7 p.m. Lizzie, I think the registration's up now,
Yep.
right? So it's
On
up
CNYRotary.org, yep.
CNY.org. Perfect. So we need, if your club is interested in grants, you need to have 2 people attend those meetings. We're also going to have a live meeting in person on April 6th at the district assembly. And I know there'll be more information coming out about that. Plus, if you're interested in the district grants, the forms have all been revised and will be posted again on CNY Rotary. I'm hoping, Dana, what, March 11th, right? We're going to get those forms up. Is that correct?
Sometime that week, right?
Thanks, Dana. March 11th, they'll be posted. And then at PETS, we will have samples of all the forms. I mean, we're not going to run off 100+ copies of everything. So we'll have samples of all the forms, and people can then take pictures, or they can go on. Everything will be on CNY Rotary as such. Again, we're just looking for a lot of clubs. We got 115 clubs, 3,000 Rotarians. This is going to be awesome, man. Let me tell you. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Yes, I think the first grants management seminar was a big hit, super informative and clear. So Monday, April 1st at 7 p.m. on Zoom, or Saturday, April 6th in person at the district training assembly. And yeah, Mary Ann.
I didn't want to interrupt.
No.
I'm very new to all of this, and I'm trying to take notes here. Is there a hierarchy chart of positions within Rotary and job descriptions of these different positions and the names of these positions? Is that something that is on cnyrotary.org that I can look for?
Sure, we do have our basic org chart posted there, so you can kind of see the lay of the land in terms of the executive committee, the leadership council, and the different committees. We don't have it, something that's fully detailed. I mean, it would be a really big document.
Abroad.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would be. We are working on our leadership guide, which is kind of our policy and procedures. And that does include a lot more detail on each committee in terms of the roles and the job descriptions. But going through the process of becoming CNY Rotary and building out these committees, we do have titles and job descriptions for all the roles on the committees, which is a really a great resource that maybe not everyone even had before. On the cnyrotary.org page, Get Involved, you can see some of the titles, the roles that we're specifically still recruiting for. If you expand the different committees that are listed on the left-hand side of that page. And then certainly on the service and events committees, since they're brand new, we have all of that right there on their pages on the website, all of the job descriptions.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll take us a little bit to get acquainted, like you said, with the hierarchy and like how it all comes together. But I'm going to email you separate, Mary Ann, with a video I did for a member orientation for my club on just Rotary hierarchy in general. That might be helpful. So Don mentioned district training assembly. That is on our list of events that we have coming up. We have quite a few. If you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, we did a post the other day that listed out all of our events with their dates and any deadlines for registering. But most pressing is today is the last day to register for the Empire Multi-District President-Elect Training Seminar, which you hear us sometimes say MD PETS. And that's really for your president-elect, but certainly anybody could come. We certainly want someone from every club in attendance as much as possible. And we want all of our assistant governors in attendance because there's special classes just for them. But we have the RI president nominee Mario coming from Brazil. We have the head of all of RI membership, Brian King, coming to speak. We have so many great speakers lined up to cover membership, the action plan. We have both of our directors, outgoing and incoming, Drew and Chris. I mean, we've got the whole crew there to get you up to speed on everything Rotary. And so if you're supposed to be there that weekend, I hope you will take the time to sign up and join us. It's March 15th through the 17th at the DoubleTree on Carrier Circle in Syracuse. And the last part of that weekend on Sunday morning is a business meeting just for CNY Rotary, where we'll have another opportunity to connect like this, share with you any updates, have you meet some of the leadership, and ask any questions. Any questions on pets? All right, moving on to the next event is District Training Assembly. This is for training for all club leaders, and it's open to all members. It's free to attend and lunch is provided. We will be at Vernon Verona Sherrill High School, which you might hear us call VVS High School. And that's in Verona, right kind of near Turning Stone Casino, that exit off the thruway if you've never been. It's a great facility for us because we need classrooms and an auditorium and a cafeteria and a gymnasium. And so they have it all there for us. And there's going to be general sessions covering our 4 main topics: foundation, membership, public image, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. There'll be breakout sessions with training for your secretary and your treasurer, the grants management seminar that Don mentioned before. We've also got some extra topics that we'll be covering that day on the action plan and how to get involved in CNY Rotary leadership. But to me, the most exciting part of the day is we have a trade show space. So in the gymnasium, we're going to have booths all around, and each booth is a committee or a Rotary program. So you can go up and speak to the people who are in charge, ask them questions, get resources from them, find out how you could get involved, find out how they could help your club. So I think that's going to be really important as we go into CNY Rotary and there's a lot of unfamiliar faces or maybe people you've only ever seen on Zoom and you want to meet them in real life. So that's a great opportunity. And then we have, after that, our district conference in Binghamton, April 26th through the 28th. That's a whole weekend you can hang out with everybody. And it's going to be really fun. There's a ton of breakout sessions being planned on things both Rotary and not Rotary, like home brewing for beer and pollinators. So fun topics that are great for you or for even if your spouse or family member is coming along. And oh, look, George, hi, kitty. George's kitty joined the meeting. And then Sunday of conference will be our first CNY Rotary inauguration. There were many things as we were building CNY that we realized our 3 districts do the same already. So that was easy. But one of the things we all did differently is we had a different name for that end of the Rotary year transition. So for one, it was called Changeover. For one, it's called Pass the Gavel. And for another, it was Changing of the Guard. So we decided to go all new for CNY Rotary and it will be called Inauguration. So we're having it early because we'll all be together at conference already. And we're going to do the official inauguration and installation of the CNY Rotary leadership team on Sunday morning after brunch. So I hope you can come to all of conference, part of conference, inauguration. Any amount of time that you can commit that weekend to be with Rotarians is going to be really worthwhile. Again, cnyrotary.org, there's a link there that takes you to the conference page where you can register, you can book your hotel, and those deadlines are going to be coming up here pretty soon. It's going to be a good time. Any questions out there? You guys are quiet tonight.
Lizzie.
Go ahead, Don.
Hi, I think that's great. And again, I really hope that everyone who's possible can make to the district conference and the district training assembly. I want to add one more thing or 2 things about the foundation. One is our foundation member, Jim High is on the committee. Katrina Ruling is on the committee. I see Dana, Lizzie, of course. We have 19 people on that committee, but we also have what are called focus groups. And the focus groups are things like people who really are interested in the Polio Plus, or folks who are interested in global grants. So if you're interested in one of those subjects, let me know. And we'll put you on a focus group, which then will be able to help assist our subcommittees and our committees as such. So if you're interested, just get in touch with me and I can talk to you about items that we have. Second thing is we're open to come out and talk to your clubs. I know Lizzie's done that a number of times. I was just I was sort of semi at Bainbridge because we had 15.5 inches of snow that morning. So I didn't quite make it to Bainbridge, but I was on Zoom. And I see Heidi Pickett from Stanford. I'll be at Stanford Club in a couple of weeks too. So if you're interested in having me come out or any of our member committee, let me know. We're more than happy to come out and talk to you about foundation, the Rotary, the unification, anything that you need. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
So I guess one of the questions that I have for some of our attendees tonight is, what is your favorite part of Rotary today? Like, what do you love about being a Rotarian? And how can we share that or expand on it as we move into CNY? Any takers?
Marianne?
Marianne?
I love the people in our club and the great work we do helping others, the fundraising, we make greeting cards for every holiday for the area nursing home. So we do some crafting. We do great service projects. We have fun. We laugh a lot. The attendance at our meetings is great. We've increased our membership tremendously this year. So I've been involved in many different organizations and clubs, and Rotary by far has been the most uplifting, and I get so much joy from being in the club, not to mention all the goodness we provide to our city and our community. It's been just such a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I love it.
Thank you for sharing, Marianne. And part of the service committee's job is for the clubs who are looking for additional help. They'll be able to connect you to resources or connect you to other clubs that might be doing similar work so that you could partner or expand on your projects. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. Then you just stick to what your club is doing and you guys enjoy it. But sometimes in, sorry, smaller clubs, sorry, I was reading I got caught up in the chat. Sometimes in smaller clubs, they're not really sure where to start or how to have that impact on their community. So we can partner them up with other clubs that are doing great work, and those other clubs can lead by example. They can bring them in and, show them how to do it, or they can partner with them on projects in their community. So that's part of what this new committee, the service committee, will be doing district-wide.
Melissa, can I expand on that a little bit more?
You sure can.
I want to tell you like detailed how that's going to happen. What the vision that the Transition Action Group put together for that committee is they would create a database that would live on our district website, our cnyrotary.org, that you can scroll through and look and see different types of service projects. And for each project, you can see what club is doing it and who to contact at that club if you want to speak with them about it, how many volunteers you might need, how much startup money you might need, or how much it might cost overall, if you'll need to advertise it, if there are any graphics or, design resources available that you could borrow or copy or update for yourself, all those kinds of things. So you can assess, is this service project going to fit for my club based on the cost and human and money resources. So you can then reach out to a club when you find one that feels like a good fit and talk with them. So that's the detailed explanation of how we're going to help you be able to implement new service projects without reinventing the wheel every time and without feeling like you have to start from scratch or that it's too hard to do. Because there's so many of us doing great projects, like you said, Marianne, that we know the logistics of, we've set them up already, and we can share that with others to make it easier for them. That's the goal. Oh, Whitney has a good question in the chat here. What will future events look like for fellowship? And this is the part that kind of excites me the most. I'm always wanting to be like on the fun committee. So the fun stuff is that's what I really want the events committee to be able to do for us. I'd love to have, District 7190 recently had like a district-wide game day, and they all met up and played board games, and it looked so fun. And I'd love to be able to set up like 6 or 7 locations throughout CNY on the same Saturday afternoon, where Rotarians come together to whichever one is closest to them to have a board game day. I know a lot of our districts already have a Rotary night at their local baseball team. So we've got the Rumble Ponies, the Tri-City Valley Cats, and the Syracuse Mets. And I've got a couple of those already in the works, so we can have Rotary nights at the baseball games. Yes, board games and baseball. We can go bowling, we can putt-putt, we can have a craft night. I love crafts. We could just get together and do coloring books and chat. I mean, there's so many things that we can do. We just need those people to facilitate the planning and coordination of making those events happen. And I'd love to see us have more of those social opportunities that aren't just limited to our clubs moving forward.
So 2 additional club questions came up prior to. So Denise had asked if we have taken the grants management training already, do we have to take another session? And Don said no. Once a club has 2 members attend grants management, they are qualified. And then Dana just asked about how will we get the latest news from CNY Rotary and the 110 plus clubs? Will there be a monthly newsletter? Do we have to be on Facebook? So Lizzie, what's up with that?
Well, Melissa's our public image chair, so she sneakily knows, but the plan is to, we are going to change it up a bit. You'll still get your monthly email saying, hey, here's the news from around the region, but you don't have a deadline you won't have a deadline anymore, because we're going to have what's called the CNY Rotary News Network. And it's going to be a section of our website where clubs and the region will submit their news, and it'll be posted as it comes in, as it rolls in. And you'll be able to scroll through like a news website and read the headlines and the articles. And then each month we'll still send you kind of a roundup of the headlines and a reminder to make sure that you're reading the Rotary News Network and staying up to date on what all the clubs are doing and the important announcements from CNY Rotary that'll likely be in there, and the opportunities for events and connection that'll live there too. And we'll, of course, also shout things out through our social channels. So we'll be on Facebook and Instagram. We are there now at CNY Rotary. That's our handle. If you want to go follow us, we would love that. We post a lot of important information there to keep people up to date and reminded and engaged. And so we'll share the news there too. We thought it'd be a little challenging for one person to have to manage a newsletter from that many clubs, and it'll probably end up being this 50-page novel that we don't know if anyone will read it anyway. So this way, you don't have to adhere to a deadline. You have a news article, you send it straight in, and we post it on the website and we share it out on social media.
So speaking about the Public Image Committee, we're always looking for help. So we're going to also be kind of split into 2. One is going to be external communications. That's going to be helping clubs get press releases out, advertising the things that we're doing out to the general public. And then there'll be internal communications. So that's things like the news network, helping our members or trying to make sure that our members are as well informed as possible through social media, through various channels, through a monthly email and that sort of stuff. If you love writing, editing, being involved in communication in any way, we would love to have you on our team. If you're you know, a newspaper pro or radio pro or a television pro or a social media pro, we would love to have you on our team. And Jim gets the award for best idea so far, which is wine tasting via Zoom as a district event. I'm up for that.
Yes, definitely.
So Lizzie, we are in the process of finalizing, I guess you would say it's a networking event for District 7190. Everyone's invited. I'll have it finalized tomorrow. It'll be March 26th. It's a Tuesday night. We are going to be doing axe throwing. So it's kind of like an icebreaker in a sense. But it's the first time we're going to be trying it out. And I'll drop my information in the chat if anybody wants more, wants to contact me about it. I'll get you the details as soon as I button it up tomorrow. But right now it's March 26th at 6:30.
That sounds great, George. Where is it taking place?
It'll be on Fuller Road in Colony,
Okay,
North Albany.
awesome. Yeah, I think Dana picked up on your pun of breaking the ice. Getting to know each other, doing dangerous things.
Are we just throwing axes in the middle of the street, or is this at a facility?
It's at a facility. They have a target set up. Our district governor stands up there near the target, and we throw axes.
What's the name of the place?
Generation Axe Throwing.
I
That's
bet
a
you
great name.
Whitney was not aware of that rule, I think, prior to allowing you to book the event.
That's great.
And Jim, you know, that's you bring up a super point about fellowships. You know, I typically find out about fellowships by attending the international convention, right? And I do know that there's a wine fellowship and I should probably join it. I am a member of the Whiskey Fellowship. So why not? I'll just cover all the alcohol row. But these are things that we should be talking about also in our newsletters and making other people aware of it. Also, friendship exchanges, right? That's still quite popular in Rotary. These are things that we don't talk about a lot in my district. So I'm hoping that we can create more of that engagement and help introduce people to aspects of Rotary that they might not be aware of or have very little knowledge of. It's huge. Right? And there's a ton of fun things to do just around fellowship. Thanks, Dana, for sharing that.
Since you came here tonight, I'll give you a little inside information. On Friday, my district conference chair and I are headed to Saratoga Springs and downtown Albany to scope out some 2025 conference locations for us.
If you need a tour guide, give me a shout.
Okay. Thank you.
So one of the reasons why we decided to have these town halls is that we keep hearing that, you know, some people have concerns about some of the changes. Some people are a little nervous about the changes. And our hope is by being open in our communication with everybody, that we ease some of those fears. But I mean, if you have specific concerns, we would love for you to bring those to any of our attention, whether it's your existing district governor, whether it's our future president, Lizzie, myself, another member of the committee that is in your district, so that we can address it. What we have done to this point is address those concerns as a team and come up with a response that would be appropriate for all three districts, right? so that you all have the same information. One of the questions in 7190 was about our existing newsletter. And the fact that we're changing that does not make everybody happy. But if we say, oh yeah, you can keep your newsletter, well, then we have to say the same thing to the other two districts. And that would seem unfair because there's going to be a lot more information that needs to be disseminated throughout the entire district. And I know that even though I'm a member of a small satellite club, if we're doing something like a business networking event on April 16th, we would want everybody to know about that. So the more that we can share as a group, and the more that we can address the concerns that you might have, because if you're thinking it, somebody else is thinking it. And if you're concerned about, I'm sure that somebody else is concerned about it. So please don't be shy. And if you want to ask questions anonymously, on the CNY website in the FAQ section, there is an anonymous contact form. So you can submit a question or a concern anonymously, and it will bring it to our attention.
And we'll be glad to answer it anonymously in our next town hall. Whitney put a great question topic to discuss in the chat, and that's our dues for next year, our CNY Rotary dues. Our club leaders received a communication from us recently. As we know, you're working on your club budgets for next year. We wanted to make sure you had this information, but the dues for next year will be $35 per person. For some of us, that's a slight increase. For some of us, that's a slight decrease. So we tried to find something that would be kind of fair and in the middle. But we also included in that note just a look ahead, that our district dues have been, kind of artificially low for a while now, with the districts operating off of reserves. And that's not something we're going to have the luxury of doing moving forward. So as our team becomes official on July 1, one of our early tasks will be to outline for you a schedule of dues increases to kind of get us back up to the right size that we need to be to fund our district. And we'll be transparent about what that looks like so that clubs can plan accordingly for their dues. But one of the things that we recommended right in our pre-pet session when we talked about club finances last month was clubs need to think about having small incremental increases in their dues each year as well, because the cost of things just goes up. That's a very normal part of life. And a lot of times we hold off on that, and then sometimes that can mean a big increase is needed at some point. And that's a little more painful than a series of smaller increases. So we're going to do our best to keep it as pain-free as possible and as transparent as possible, and make sure that you know what's going to be on the road ahead for the next several years. And then also the budget itself for CNY Rotary is, the draft is done. The steering committee will look at it this coming Monday. And it will be sent out to all of our incoming club presidents by the middle of this month for review. So again, in full transparency, they'll be able to look it over and give us their feedback. Yeah, Dave.
Lizzie, I'm glad you brought that up. There were a few clubs in my area when the invoices were put out for this year, where the question arose, and some of this may be related to just changes in administration. But is the new CNY going to include in the dues invoices honorary members?
That's a great question, Dave. And I think that is something that we need to discuss at Monday's meeting with the steering committee, because that did just come to my attention late last week. So that is on my radar, and I can't answer for you definitively because I'm a president, not a district governor. So it has to be a team discussion and decision. But that's some great clarification that we could provide to you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would just offer that I've had several conversations with a few of mine, and these are smaller clubs, obviously. So money is important. There isn't a huge, revenue stream there,
Sure.
especially for dues. But and they did their homework, and I learned something in the process of these discussions. But it's very clear in the bylaws of Rotary International that Rotary International honorary members, so designated, are not charged dues by Rotary International. So it begs the question, obviously, why would the district then levy that kind of an assessment
Okay,
at the district level? So I offer that for your
you.
consideration when you do have a consideration.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's great
Yeah.
to hear. Thanks, Dave. And I just want to clarify one other point because I had this question come texted to me last week. When we say dues are $35 per person for your clubs, it's going to be billed biannually. So in July, you'll get a bill that has your pets dues and $17.50 per person. And then in January, you'll get a bill that has the other $17.50 per person. So that's how you'll be invoiced. And it'll be based on your numbers that are in the database on July 1 and January 1, just like RI does.
So Dave, I know that Rotary International does charge for magazine subscription, not dues, but they do charge honorary members for the magazine subscription. I don't know if you see that separately on the invoice at all.
I'm aware of that, Melissa. I'm not sure all the clubs understand that in detail. But there's a new option now also at Rotary International that if you choose to take an electronic version, it makes it a lot less costly to the club there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Winnie asked for us to share about the nominations for a council on legislation rep and nominating an RI director for a committee for that. Those will be happening Sunday morning at district conference. I'm actually not fully versed in what those entail. Whitney, can you talk at all or have you lost your voice?
I can pitch in if she can't.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Melissa, my voice is not really great right now.
Okay. So Council on Legislation, every district has a Council on Legislation representative and an alternate. That individual must be a past district governor. I think that's the only stipulation. You can nominate yourself. You just have to let Lizzie know. This way she knows who to put on the ballot, and delegates there at the conference. Basically by popular vote in the Council on Legislation representative and alternate. The Council on Legislation representative is required to do 3 hours of training. That will be held at Zone in Toronto in September. So that's going to take place there. I don't think that there is a RI reimbursement for that. But I can double check that. As for the nominating committee, again, must be a past district governor. Each district is allowed to elect one member for the nominating committee and an alternate in case that person can't make it. That individual will attend, I believe it's going to be in person, not via Zoom, and it's somewhere in the zone. I believe that the travel gets picked up. It is typically a weekend. You arrive Friday night, you meet your other nominees. You formulate questions that you will be asking you meet your other committee, nominating committee people. You will formulate questions that you will ask to each director nominee, or whatever they're called there. And you will be responsible for making that selection, and you will select our next director as well as a alternate director. I think I covered that one. For those of you that are not aware of what COL or COR, Council on Legislation and Council on Resolutions, the Council on Legislation meets every 3 years. They are basically the governing body for Rotary International. They can create rules that actually change Rotary International bylaws. The Council on Resolutions makes, I'll call them milder recommendations on an annual basis. That is done electronically, not in person. And they make recommendations to the Board of Directors for changes that can be made either to the bylaws, the governing documents, or even foundation. So COL is a big deal. Being the Council on Legislation representative is really a very big deal. And oftentimes you're asked to sort of poll your district on what some of their opinions might be on the things that are going to be coming up for legislation. So if you know anybody, or if you yourself are interested, certainly please step forward. You are allowed to serve 2 consecutive terms as Council on Legislation, and then you are done. So, but it's a great job. I've had the job. It's a wonderful job. It really taught me a bunch of things about Rotary that I really wasn't, fully aware of. You hear about bylaws, you hear about, governing documents, but when you're actually there and talking about them and discussing them, it's pretty cool. And people can get pretty heated up in their opinions. So it was kind of entertaining to watch too.
Well,
So
I think we
yeah, that
covered
was-
a lot tonight. Yeah, thank you for everyone's questions and engagement and for taking the time to be here. You can, like I said, follow at CNY Rotary on Facebook or Instagram to keep in touch with us. Visit cnyrotary.org for more information on all the events and committees that we talked about tonight. And you can reach out to any of us on the leadership team if you have questions or concerns you'd rather discuss in a more private setting. And like Don said, many of us are willing to also come to your clubs and visit and chat with your whole club if that'll put your minds at ease. Dana.
Could I trouble everyone for either a wave or a happy face screenshot that I will give to Melissa, and she can put it on a billboard on 787 near Albany? Hang on, let me just get my trigger. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I like that, Dwight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dana. And our meeting tonight was recorded. We'll post a link to it on the cnyrotary.org site for anyone who missed it. That you want to share it, but we'll be here again the first Tuesday of each month for April, May, and June. So you can always come back again.
Thank you, everybody, for your time. And I look forward to working as one big district together. Enjoy your night.
Thank you, Denise, for hosting.